Question of the unity of the left, it seems to me, my comment will be brief, seems to me the most important and immediate task is unity of action and unity of purpose. And if we could accomplish that, that would be a very good movement forward to develop a larger, broader unity of the left. More importantly, the unity of the street.
Thank you. I'm going to take the opportunity of addressing the question about the National Ignition Facility that was raised to try to put it in a broader context. I'm struck on this panel by the fact that we are talking about a lot of very serious issues of all different kinds. We are not doing very well at linking the militarism with the human needs. So let me just try to do this real quick. So Obama in Prague was widely quoted as calling for the elimination of nuclear weapons, and he said, to put an end to Cold War thinking, we will reduce the role of nuclear weapons in our national security strategy and urge others to do the same. But then he immediately said, make no mistake, as long as these weapons exist, the United States will maintain a safe, secure, and effective arsenal to deter any adversary and guarantee that defense to our allies. Now, what does deterrence mean? So this is a current Department of Defense report on the Air Force's nuclear mission. Though our consistent goal has been to avoid actual weapons use, the nuclear deterrent is used every day by assuring friends and allies, dissuading opponents from seeking peer capabilities to the United States, deterring attacks on the United States and its allies from potential adversaries, and providing the potential to defeat adversaries if deterrence fails. So it's like holding a gun to somebody's head, right? According to its proponents, and then this goes on, the quality and credibility of U.S. nuclear forces are critical to an effective deterrent. So then, according to its proponents, maintaining this credible deterrent will require massive investment in the nuclear weapons infrastructure. And to this end, the nuclear weapons research and production infrastructure is being renovated to the tune of billions and billions of dollars through a program now called Complex Transformation. And under this program, of which the National Ignition Facility is the flagship, it's a giant laser, modifications to every existing warhead type are underway under something which is sleazily called the Stockpile Life Extension Program. That's the secret, I have to tell you, is that we have a national health care system for aging nuclear weapons. And in some cases, this is providing new military capabilities for these weapons. So, for example, the W-76 sea-launched ballistic missile warhead, which is carried aboard 14 U.S. Trident submarines, currently patrolling the world's oceans, is being given a new capacity to destroy hard targets with a ground burst by modifying subsystem in its delivery vehicle. I'm going to wrap this up shortly. I just want to tell you, this was a speech made in 1999 under Clinton, 10 years after the end of the Cold War, by the head of nuclear weapons at Los Alamos Lab. The W-76 warhead is the backbone of America's strategic nuclear deterrent. There are lots of those things out there. They're out there right now on submarines, moving very quietly. We don't know where they are. The bad guys don't know where they are. 30 minutes, however, and they can deliver this type of weapon to just about any target on Earth, okay? So the moral of that story is don't mess with the United States. You think Texas is bad? Try a Trident submarine. And now in the news over the last couple of days, I'm very alarmed at reports about the United States, Hillary Clinton, India, was it in India? Anyway, talking about extending the U.S. nuclear deterrent over the Middle East if Iran, or to deter Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. Talking with Japan about extending the U.S. nuclear umbrella in Japan to protect that from North Korea. So this is what's happening. It's a moving target. And I also want to say the United States, in fiscal year 2008, spent $52.4 billion on nuclear weapons programs, which is more than the entire military budget of all but 4 other countries in the world, and spent as much as the rest of the world combined on its military. So there's the money. There's the money. That's the point I want to make. There's loads of money in the military. There's loads of money in nuclear weapons, which is a tiny drop in the bucket compared to the overall U.S. military. So that's another important connection I just think we should make. Thank you.
I'll try to be brief. I want to say that the point that Jay raised is something that the left in general has failed to, I think, fully digest. And that is the depth of the ecological crisis our modern society has created. And we need to say that it's not simply a product of capitalism, but it is certainly a product of capitalism. And we need to have a new way of talking about that in ways that empower people to believe that they can change it, that there is an alternative. It's not simply enough to say how dire the threat is. We have to offer people an alternative. On the question of left unity, one of the banes of the left over the years is what I describe as organizational egos. Organizations have egos just as individuals do. And our inability to get past those organizational egos and to really understand where the differences are, what they represent, and whether they're really so important that we can't find ways around them is, I think, our Achilles heel. And I also agree with Frank Martin that this is not a theoretical discussion. It can't be resolved theoretically. It's going to be resolved by people doing the work and having the kinds of conversations that Steve talked about with people in our communities, in our workplaces. There is no, in my opinion, there is no model. And in fact, we should avoid the idea that there is a model. We had that, we did that, and it didn't work. So let's understand there are a multitude of models, and there are a multitude of people's experiences that we can learn from. Cuba being one, Venezuela being another. But there are people all over the world struggling with the same issues. And if we can get past our arrogance to understand that they have a lot to teach us, we can draw on all of those models to figure out our own unique expression of socialism in the United States, which will not look like socialism anywhere else, any more than socialism in Cuba will look like socialism anywhere else. Every people, every country's got to figure out a path that reflects their own national identity, their resources, their history, their culture, and we're going to have to do the same. And then lastly, I'd say, my friend and comrade Bill always teaches me whenever I hear him speak. And I want to say that his remarks about the charter, I think, are right on the money. I don't in any way step back from the point that I made, which is that we really don't need one more inspiring document. We need something that moves us in a direction of resolving the contradictions in our own movement. And I think the charter is a piece of it, but we've got a lot of other work we need to do too.